I'm Ben with the BTC Sessions, and this is your bullish bit brought to you by bitrefill.com, your one-stop shop for living on a Bitcoin standard. Sign up and grab gift cards for eSIMs, gaming, e-commerce, your travel needs, food, and much more, and you can buy them all with Bitcoin and Lightning. Sign up today and use code BTC Sessions 10 for some special perks.
Our friend center and our family center is actually centered in Egypt, even as our economic center is centered in the United States. And so Egypt is very important to us. And that gives me somewhat of a perspective because in the developed world, we have, say, on average, 7% annual broad money supply growth and the various implications that come with that. Whereas when you go to the developed world, you have much higher average rates of broad money supply growth. In Egypt, in recent years, over the past decades, it's been about 20% per year. So imagine that your unit of account is increasing in supply by 20% per year almost every single year. And you're in the position of a wage earner or a small business person trying to establish pricing for your various products. That's obviously a very hard environment to operate in. So I think that the majority of Bitcoin narratives or inflation narratives are based around the idea that your savings are being devalued. So as the supply increases, your liquid savings are devalued. But I think in many ways a equal or bigger problem is that the contracts and the wages of people are constantly being devalued. So when Egypt, for example, back in 2016 and again in 2022 at the behest of the IMF, which Alex Gladstein goes into greatly in his work, when they forced Egypt to devalue their currency relative to the dollar by half. Any Egyptian that does not get a 100% raise in that environment is now earning fewer dollar equivalents on an ongoing basis indefinitely compared to what they used to earn. And so not only were their liquid savings devalued, the fact that your ongoing income is still devalued is really powerful. And if you survey people and say, hey, are you getting a 20% raise every year? Did you get a 100% raise the fact that you were devalued by 50%? The answer is, 99% going to be no. And to some extent, the same thing happens in developed countries, just at a less extreme scale. And so, for example, if CPI averages 2.5 or 3% per year over the long run, the realistic basket of things you want to buy that are not like fully degraded by technology and things like that. So, for example, housing, healthcare, nutritious, like dense food, things like that, is probably increasing at 4 or 5% per year. If you're not getting that wage increase plus whatever your realistic seniority, higher productivity bonus is, the burden of proof is always against the person trying to keep up with inflation rather than the status quo, which is the employer or those that have the longer term contract. The most damning thing is that if you look at the past 50 years under this current monetary system, the number of countries that have gone from developing to developed, you can count on like one hand. And almost every single developed country today developed back under a hard money standard, back under when gold was money. People were able to save money reliably and then deploy that capital. But I think that the more people realize the injustice of that situation and that realize it's not just the devaluation of your savings that matters, it's also the devaluation of your unit of account that matters. I think all of that points to the importance of Bitcoin. You get benefits from going on Bitcoin now, but that you get greater benefits should the entire world become Bitcoin dominant. That's a whole nother step up.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that has to be. It's still poorly understood, and it's best to share that and educate people on these kind of injustice dynamics that exist in the current system.